Guys, I am getting ready to take you through your end of the year assessment. And I have made it into a Google Doc. I'm trying to be a little fancy here. I don't know how well you can see it, but I have attached it to Google Classroom. You can click on it. It has made each of you a copy. I think that you can insert text boxes to answer the questions, but I'm going to go, and then you can just return it to me, turn it in on Google Classroom. So I have a copy of it. So you might not have to print anything. If you would like to print it, go ahead and print it. And you can follow along with me as I go through your end of year assessment with you. I may switch to my document camera and so that I can write, but we'll see. So this is what you'll see when you open up the Google Slides is your end of year assessment. And I think some of the questions, they are weird. So I want to go through and explain them to you. Probably the same thing you'd have, same questions that you have. Hopefully I'll be able to answer if we're in the classroom. All right, so this is what it looks like. I think it looks a little, and but hopefully you'll be able to see it, or you can widen the view, put it in present mode so that you can see it. I don't know then if you can edit it, but this is a story. It's in a story format, and there's only 19 questions, even though it's 10 pages long. But this is what you'll see and be able to do. I think I'm going to switch over to my document camera because it's a little bit bigger and you can see it. And so I've got to go back up here and see if I can do this. I think, I can just go here. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Look, I forget this every time. Sorry you had to see me go through all that. But look at that. So now, instead of you seeing me, you're seeing the document camera bent. I may want to make this full view instead of, because you're seeing the same thing here as you're seeing there. So let's open this up. There we go. All right. So here's your end of year assessment. These questions are just kind of strange, but so I'm going to basically tell you what you need to do in order to get this question correct. So the Appalachian Trail passes through 14 states from Maine to Georgia. Use the data in the table to solve the problems given below. Lengths are rounded to the nearest mile. So the trail in New York is how many times as long as the trail in West Virginia. So you'll have to know that the trail in New York is 88 miles and the trail in West Virginia is 4 miles. So I am going to divide to find my answer. So the equation with the unknown is just a thing. Equation, remember, means equal. Almost has the equal sign in it. So I would write 88 divided by 4. Okay, equals, and your unknown is n. I just did number for whatever number it is. And so then you will write your answer down here or somewhere around there, however you can get the answer down. But that is how you would solve that problem. Okay. I know they want to know that you know how to solve that problem, but I just think they ask weird questions. Okay, next one, part B of this one. Let's not do the estimate. I know you're pretty good at estimates, but I want to know that you can figure this problem out. this is, I think, really hard, so I'm going to walk you through it. It wants Dan and Pat hiked the trail from its start in Maine through New Hampshire and all the way through Vermont. Pat ended his hike there, but Dan continued all the way through Massachusetts and then hiked back to the starting point. So I said, if I look up here, that Dan hiked through Maine, through New Hampshire, through Vermont, and through Massachusetts. I don't know, New Hampshire and Vermont are side by side, and Maine is on top of them. Anyway, I don't know how it figures out, but I looked it up, but this is the way it's going to be. So he hiked all those, and then he hiked back. So I said times 2. So he did all this twice, right? And then Pat only did, he started in Maine, he hiked all the way through Maine, all the way through New Hampshire, and then through Vermont. So that's what Pat did. So they want to know how many miles farther did Dan hike than Pat. And that's an easy, I have farther underlined here, just so that you know that, you're going to have to subtract those 2 to find out how farther. And I'm sure most of you already knew that. Okay, so that's just question 1. Isn't it crazy? It's a lot. Okay, so question 2, I think should be pretty easy. The rule for the pattern below is multiply each counting number by 9. So, and that is worded weirdly too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 9. So this is 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4, 9 times 5, blah, 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 all the way through 9 times 15. So they want to know what 9 times 16, 17, 18. So they want to know 16 times 9, 17 times 9, 18 times 9, 19 times 9, 20 times 9. Okay, so what's the pattern that you see? They want to know a pattern, any pattern that you see on this next one. Okay, I hope you understand that. Next 5 numbers in the pattern is what they want, starting with 16 times 9. Okay, and then write down a pattern that you see. And you might have different patterns that you see. So you can write it down, write a text box somewhere. I've given space on Google Docs right next to it, so you can write, insert a text box and write your answer, however you can do it, but tell me what pattern you see, and you can type it in there. So number 3, Alexander wrote down a 6-digit whole number. When he rounded it to the hundredths place, the answer was 1,000,000. Circle the numbers that might have been Alexander's number. So which one of these round to 1,000,000? Okay, and then B is 900 thousands plus 5 10,000s plus 9 1,000s, equivalent to any of the numbers up here. Select 2 numbers and record a number sentence using greater than, equal, or, less than, equal, or greater than. So 2 numbers, and you're going to use greater than, equal, or greater than. So if I pick 999,957, I'm going to say that it is greater than 998,945. That's what they want. So you're just going to pick 2 of these numbers and put in greater than, less than, or equal sign in the middle of them. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. D, how many times greater is the value of 5 in this number than the 5 in this number? Now, that was like the first lesson we did this year. First lesson. So they want to know how many times greater. And remember, every time you jump a place value, you go up 10 times. So I may have just given you the answer, but every time you jump a place value, you go up 10 times. So let's see, the 9 in this one, the 9 here is 100 times greater than the 9 here because I've jumped 2 place values. So this is 10 times greater, that's 100 times greater. That's 1,000 times greater. Anyway, okay, there's that. So number 4, solve using traditional. You can do that. I don't need to explain that one to you. You just write those down and solve them, okay? Let's see. Oh, and I don't need to explain number 5. You multiply those two numbers and you divide. Any way you can do it, I don't care. I just want to know that you can divide those. I tried to explain number 6 to y'all. Oh, I wrote down some notes. So Joel's dishwasher uses 7 gallons each time he uses it. He ran his dishwasher every day for several weeks, using a total of 217 gallons of water. For how many days did Joel use his dishwasher? So we have to think, he used a total of 217 gallons of water. I divide by 7. I'm going to find my answer. I'm going to find out how many days, because he uses 7 gallons every time he uses it. So think, I wrote down my little think over here, and I saw 7 and I saw 21. See, 21 and 7. And I know that 7 times 3 is 21. So it's going to help me solve this problem. And so then I said, well, 7 times 30 is 210. Look, it's pretty close. So that should help you solve that problem. So this is what we did the other week. How many quarts were used altogether? So you have to know that 4 quarts equals a gallon. So that should help you solve that. Problem number 6. Okay. Problem number 7 is this whole entire page. So this is where it might help to print it off. But if you don't, you can just write it on another piece of paper to get your answers. You can actually even use this Screencastify on your Google slide to, there's a little extension that you can add. And if you see up here, oh, you can't even see, but at the right here at the very top of your screen this is what the extension looks like, and it's recording it. And so that is Screencastify. You can even insert that into your Google Slides and tell me how you solved it. It's pretty cool. But if you want to figure all that out, but you don't have to. All right, so here is your line plot. We spent a couple weeks on line plots. What would your title be? This is Maricela measured the wingspans of dragonflies to the nearest 8-inch. So you would write, here's 2. So you would go to 2 1/8, 2 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and then you would 3 1/8, 3 2/8, and then you would, and that's where you'd write all those down. And then you would remember you put X's. Don't forget your title, and then they're going to ask you 2 different questions about your line plot that you've just made. And I think you guys were pretty good at that you can do this. So that's question number 7. Question number, you get 3 questions on this page. And I don't think I really need to explain any of this to you, but we'll go through greater than, equal, or less than, equals, or greater than right here. Explain how you know what it is. You can use, if you have fraction circles, you can use them. I don't think you have fraction circles, but maybe you can find something online to help you, or you can just draw it out. Maybe draw 2 circles over here, and one split in tenths and one split in fifths, and see if you can figure it out. Or you may just know, because we did several different rules to find equivalent fractions, but explain how you know. Here, explain how you know that this is correct. So I need a number that is less than 1/2. Guys, we spent weeks on what equals a half. So you should be able to tell me that make one that is less than a half if you can figure out what over 12 is half. Explain how you know. I think those are probably more important than anything. So if Calvin adds 3 fractions to get 1/2, what might his equation be? Remember, equation is just a problem that so you're going to have plus 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 equals. Okay, so what plus what plus what. And remember, they've got to be fractions, and they've got to equal 1/2. But remember that 1/2 can equal, that's a half, right? This is a half. Remember our rule that anything, the numerator is half of the denominator, means that it's half. And we filled a whole entire page of, we just came up with as many halves as we could. We even did a little time test just for fun to see how many halves we could come up in like 2 minutes. And it's a ton. So I think that y'all can figure that out. It might take a little thought, but I think you can do it. All right, so Evan subtracts 2 fractions to get an answer of 3/4. So that's what the equation is going to look like. What minus what equals 3/4. Think about it. I think it's pretty easy. Remember, denominators don't change. And so you're just subtracting the numerators to get that. So the number 10 is decompose or break down 9/10 into 2 different sums. Remember, sums means you're adding of fractions with the same denominator. Record each decomposition with an equation, then justify by coloring the parts of the circle. So you're going to break down 9/10 2 different ways. That's all this is saying. Okay, and then you're going to color it in. All right, I hope that makes sense. So that's through 10. We have 9 more questions, except for number 11 is 1 whole page. Okay, so what they want you to do is, and I've shown you here, let's see, let's do this. This is in the ones place. Okay, so you'll need some place value. And so we didn't spend a lot of time on decimals this year, but this number 1, let's see, let's make it a 4. This 4 is in the ones place. And then after the ones place, we have a decimal. There's always a decimal there. We just don't ever write it anymore. Then we have, remember, decimals and fractions are the same thing. So then we break it. This is in the 10ths place, look with a TH. And this is in the 100ths place. The second spot is in the 100ths place behind the decimal. So they want you to write 7/10 as a decimal and as a fraction. So y'all were like, ooh, that's easy, because 7/10 you can easily write as a fraction. And then as a decimal, you just look. So you've got to have a decimal, and this is the 10ths place. So 7/10. Okay, I can't tell you anymore. So write 7/100 as a decimal and in words. Okay, I think you can handle that. So here, write a number sentence using greater than, equal, less than, equal, or greater than to compare the decimals in problems 11A and 11B. So they want you to take 7/10. Is that greater than or equal to 7/100? Explain how you know. So tell me, I know it because, did you draw a picture? Did you do, however you can explain it to me. Add the fractions in problems 11A and 11B. Didn't show your work. So you're going to add 7/10 plus 7/100. I know it's been a while since we've done this, but you've all took a little mini assessment over this. And so you might not remember, but remember to add, the denominators have to be the same. So I've got to make an equivalent fraction out of this problem. I can't leave it like that. This is not 14/110. This has to be the same. So we've got to make sure that how many, we're making this hundreds. So what can I do to this to make it 100? So I've got to make an equivalent fraction. Equivalent fractions, you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Okay, I'm just jogging your brains, trying to help you remember what to do. So to make an equivalent fraction, you multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, we know what we want to make this equivalent to. We know we want to make this a 100 at the bottom. So what do I multiply this by? Hopefully you can remember that. And I hope you're listening. So then write your answer right here. And I've basically done the whole problem. What do you times 7 by? What do you multiply 10 by to get 100? And then you have to multiply the numerator by that. So then you can add them together. But this has got to be 100. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, then it just doesn't. We're just going to move on. Okay, so then you're going to color this in for whatever that equals. And I know we did this, and I know you all understood it at the time, but let's see. And the reason why we're taking this test is just so you should know how to do all of these. And if you're sitting there going, I have no idea, then go look it up. Then go make sure that you understand this for next year. That is why we're just reviewing these. These are things that you need to know before you go to 5th grade. And if you don't, the world's not going to come to an end, but then you need to make sure that you understand that. And that's why we're going over this. That's why we're doing this. It's not necessarily for a grade in my grade book. It's so that I can know, okay, this guy has no idea, or this girl has no idea how to do, let's say this one, perimeter. You should know how to do perimeter, but if you don't, then that's what I might write a note to your parents saying, hey, go over perimeter this summer. So here, use the formula to find perimeter. Well, because I'm so nice, I went ahead and wrote, this is the formula for perimeter, and this is the formula for area, just in case you forgot. Because if you're in my classroom taking this, I was going to let you use your notes, your book, your journal, my wall. Remember, my walls are just like a big help wall. I was going to let you use that to see if you could figure this out. So here's the perimeter. They want to know perimeter, and the number sentence with the unknown would be just like this. So I don't really care about the number sentence, but it would be perimeter equals and the things that you have to add together. So using this formula, okay? So use the formula, which we know is length times width. I wrote it right up here. That's the formula. Maybe I can write formula up here. Now, I don't know if I copied this on your Google Slides before or after, so I don't know if that's on there. So please watch this video all the way through, stop it, take your test, or if you're not printing it out, maybe you can go back and forth on different tabs and work on it that way. So here's use the formula to find the area of the rectangle. The number sentence with the unknown would be whatever area equals, blah, blah, blah. So just, it's the 4 numbers you're adding together, and these are the 2 numbers that you're multiplying together, and that's your number sentence. Okay. All right. Ooh, some fun stuff. So use a protractor to complete the following. If you don't have your protractor anymore, I don't know, just do your best. Draw an angle with a measure of 150 degrees is what they want you to do here, okay? So you know that that's going to be obtuse. It's going to be pretty big. I think I just told you the answer. But anyway, so A, this is angle X, Y, Z. The vertex right here should always be in the middle when you write your angle like this. So they want you to measure this angle right here and write the answer right here using your protractor. You can print one off the internet pretty easily and cut it out and use it to help you with that. Remember, you're going to put the very middle of the protractor the little circle in the middle or the little line in the very bottom middle of your protractor, right there. And you might have to turn it around to get this, or turn your paper around like this so that you can find it. However you need to do it. All right, so, and that is here. So tell me, why is it obtuse? Why is it acute? Why is it right? Explain it right here, because if it's not right. But so if it was 90 degrees, say it's right because a 90 degrees is a right angle. But it's not. I'm just telling you, that's not the right answer. Okay, so find the unknown angle measure. Do not use a protractor equation with unknown, because you really can't, unless you have a full round protractor, you can't solve it with just a protractor. I did not go over these angles, mostly because I think it wasn't in the standards before, and I just never have taught that in third grade. But this is called a reflex, and it goes the opposite way. See, this is the right angle, so this is 90 degrees. 360 degrees is, of course, all the way around. This one goes from here to here. So if you know that 360 is all the way around, and this is 90, this is 115, they want to know what this angle is, okay? So you would add these up, subtract them from 360, and then you're going to find this answer. There you go. So I basically told you how to do that one because we haven't done it in class. But that's okay. All right, here we go. Oh, this is fun. You can draw an example of each one. Hey, use your protractor as a straight edge to help you draw this. Instead of me getting a line that looks like this, I hate that. I think you know. I want you to use your straight edge to draw that with, okay? Make it nice and neat and beautiful for me. So when I see this, so if you're doing it on, oh my goodness, if you're doing it on Google Slides, it may look a little bit different, but and I guess up at that point you can draw an acute angle. I know that you can draw on there. Just do your best. I mean, this isn't going to be the end of the world. All right, here we go. 17, we're almost done. 3 problems. Number 17. This stuff is the fun stuff. It's the geometry, which I love. So circle the polygon that has 2 pairs of parallel sides. You'll have to remember, you can remember our song, Parallel. I'm not going to do it on screen for you, but you would laugh at me. But parallel lines, you know, are like a railroad track. They're parallel. No matter what direction you go, those are parallel lines. So they want you to find the polygon. A polygon is 2 Greek words, poly meaning many, gon meaning angle. So it's just a shape that has many angles, and it's closed. So it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So it's got to have 2 sets of parallel sides, and it has 4 right angles. Ooh, that one should be pretty easy to find. So then B, draw an X over the polygon that has 1 pair of perpendicular sides. Now perpendicular, you can think back to our song again, parallel and perpendicular, the little robot, remember him? But the perpendicular lines are the ones that you have a T, okay? They come together at a right angle. Those are perpendicular lines. And then a right angle. All right. So number 18, I want you to, 2 lines of symmetry. Circle the shape that might have been the one Amy drew with 2 lines of symmetry. So draw the 2 lines of symmetry and then explain how you know. How do you know? Because the others don't have 2 lines. However you need to explain it to me. And last problem, y'all, we can do this. Hey, and I'm giving you all week to do this too. And you don't have to sit down and do it all at one time. You can do it at several times. So Polly used to make strawberry lemonade for 8. She wants each friend to get a quarter of a liter of lemonade. How many liters of lemonade should she make? This is what we just did with multiplication. So number model with unknown. So I'm going to use my number model. So she has 8 friends. They each get a quarter liter. How many liters does she have to make? Okay. Nothing fancy. You're just, remember, you're multiplying fractions. And you're multiplying the whole number by the numerator. I didn't show you, this is how I always did it growing up. You multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. See, the denominator is going to stay the same because it's by 1 to get the answer. So there's several ways that you can solve that problem. All right, so Carrie and Zach just moved into a new house. They're painting the walls all new colors. If they paint 2/3 of the wall each day, how many will they have painted in 4 days? Okay, there you go. So that's the last thing. That's why it's one of the last things we did in math this year was multiplying whole numbers by fractions. And that is it. That is it. I want you to take your time. I want you to do your best job. You get this to me any way you can. And that's it. I love you guys. Miss you. And I will see you. I will see you in the fall because y'all are going to be back in our building. So it's going to be quite fun. All right. Good luck. I'll talk to you later. I hope it helped you and helped answer any questions you might have about what they're asking. Talk to you soon. Bye.